I'm Dr. Natalie Beauchamp, and this is What the Heck, the podcast that dives into what the heck is going on in the world of health and well-being, explores how to optimize your mindset and your lifestyle, and shares practical tools so that you can achieve your fullest potential. Join me and a special guest each week as we discuss everything from biohacking to diet personalization to cutting-edge detox methods to setting and staying accountable to your goals. Ready to find out what the heck you can do to stay healthy, sharp, and at the top of your game? Let's get started. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the What the Heck podcast. This is your host, Dr. Natalie Beauchamp. So excited today to talk about coaching and how to make ourselves accountable. So today, my guest is Sarah Sutin, who is a health coach, and we're going to dig deeper into what is a health coach and what it can do for us and what it isn't. So before we dig right in, Sarah, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, Natalie. It's a pleasure. I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. So Sarah, I usually get my guests to kind of introduce themselves. So how did you get interested into health? I mean, I know your story, which is, I think, quite interesting. And because you're, how old are you, Sarah, if I may ask? In your 20s, right?
Yes. 26.
Good. So 26. Okay. So, I find it so interesting how now the millennials are, living that laptop lifestyle and are really embracing their dreams. It seems much sooner than us, as we did ourselves. So tell us about your story, your background, how you got into health and how you got into coaching.
Sure. Yeah. So, my story, I guess, is a bit unique. I am an integrative nutrition health coach, but my journey began because I was a circus artist for many years. I performed and trained on the flying trapeze and the aerials, the stuff that you would see if you went to a circus. And so quite literally, my job was very physical and I had to take care of my body. And I really learned to heal myself through those years. I ended up having some plateaus during that time and getting very frustrated that I wasn't getting better in my job. And so I really forced myself at one point to take on my health and my wellness. And by doing that, I had to take a couple of steps back and see that I was actually skipping a lot of steps. I was simply trying to just eat healthier, just go to the gym, just do this. And what I was realizing was there's just really a big disconnect in my mind and mindset and how I was treating myself. So really it was just a personal journey based on my job as a circus artist over many, many years, which was really great. I got to heal myself. And people just started to take notice and comment and ask me questions. And I found a lot of joy in helping other people go through that journey and guiding them. So that's kind of what brought me to becoming a health coach, going back to school for it. I studied at the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, and I really got a deeper look into it and kind of led me to where I am today and what I do.
It's interesting. Most of my guests that are in, and some are more physical health per se, or some are more on mindset, but everyone seems to be in the industry, if you want, or in the field because they've had a personal story, either an injury, so it's interesting how we've almost all of us have started because of something for ourselves or for someone that's really close to us. So like you said, some people started noticing what you were doing, asking you for advice, and I guess the transition for you was easy to do. So how have you been finding your journey into helping others?
It's been great. I love it. I really get to connect with people. And like you said, everyone goes through their personal journey first, mainly because when you're in this field or industry, it's very difficult to help someone if you can't relate.
Mm-hmm.
Never really been through it.
Yeah.
So really to be able to go through it helps me help others. And I really love it. I didn't think I would get into mindset as strongly as I did. I thought I'd be way more into nutrition and physical health.
Mm-hmm.
And it really helps to have the background in that. But what I really find is that mindset and awareness and mindfulness is really the first step in anything. And I just really dug into that. And so I'm loving guiding people through it.
That's awesome. Yeah. Yesterday I was being interviewed on another podcast and kind of giving hacks, as tips. And my first one was, what is your why? So mindset, you're completely correct, is probably the most important thing, because why do people want to better their health? Usually it's because they have also a crisis. So for us as coaches or people that are in the natural health field, it's always kind of I know it's my mission to connect with people before they get that event or that crisis that they have to do something about it. So let's dig a little bit deeper on what is a coach and what people should expect when they work with a coach. And then I guess we can talk about what it's not.
Yeah, sure. So a coach is exactly that. And I'm sure most people in their life has had a coach at some point or another, whether you played a sport growing up, whether it's a business coach, and whatever field it is. A coach essentially guides you and holds you accountable for whatever the need is. So that's exactly what a health coach does. And we don't do the work for you the same way a personal trainer can't lift weights for you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And I think that's a common mistake that people make with health coach, is we're here to guide and help you through these shifts and these habit changes. And we're here to hold you accountable, but we can't do the work for you.
So I think you answered the question I asked, with the twofold. So let's dig a little bit deeper on some of the mistakes, I guess, you see people make, and then let's, go into some of the hacks that they can do to get the better and the biggest results possible.
Yeah. So, well, I definitely want to say that many health coaches have dietitian degrees and personal training certifications, but some don't. And it's really important to know when you're working with a health coach, the difference and what they can and can't offer, because they're all very different. And so each health coach, it's super interesting. And something I love about it is each health coach is quite different. Like I said, I really focus on mindset shifts and habit shifts, but some work specifically with dietary needs, with vegans or paleos. Some work specifically with autoimmune diseases maybe that they've gone through. So when you're looking for a health coach, it's really important to find the right fit for you, because we're all slightly different. And I find that the first mistake people make is that they really just want to cut to the chase. They want to cut to the chase and say, I want to eat healthier. What do I eat?
Or what workout should I do, and so forth, right?
Give me a workout.
Yeah.
Give me a meal. And I say, okay, let's step back a bit. I know nothing about them, their bodies, right? Yeah. What they go through, what they've done. So it's really important that you learn over time to do that yourself, to step back and listen to your body, and really get into that mind and know what's best for you, instead of just assuming that what you should eat and how you should work out is the same.
Yeah. So I guess if you're looking at the mindset to start with, you'll probably do like a health history, what their goals are and so forth. And again, what is their why? So you can customize your approach with this person. So give us an example of literally your process when you start working with someone.
Sure. So when I start working with someone, pretty much it's exactly what you just said. I go through a health history with them. We talk about very specifics of, what their family history is, what their history is in health, maybe in any issues that they're having, autoimmune diseases, dietary needs, physical ambitions, their past, their childhood. And as well as that, we go through their goals and what they really want and expect out of their future. And between those two, we kind of decide what the best way to move forward is. And when I work with people, a lot of times it starts slow with written exercises and mindful techniques.
Mm-hmm.
So really just dig into, I actually tell them not to change any habits when we first start.
Mm-hmm.
I just want them to become aware of what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Once you become aware of it, you want to naturally change it yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a very good point. And are you, because like you said, every coach is different. And I know some coaches will focus on not removing anything, but just adding the right things and the right habits. And some coaches will focus on cleaning things up. Like, again, then there's no one size fits all, but what is your approach typically on that?
Right. That's super interesting because I was just talking with a client about adding abundance of more whole plant foods instead of, she was worried about taking dairy out and feeling that restriction
Mm-hmm.
of I can't eat dairy, that mindset, I can't.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, instead of thinking about taking it out, just buy more whole plant-based foods when you grocery shop, cook more into the food, put more on your plate, add the abundance.
Mm-hmm.
There's no room
Mm-hmm.
for the other stuff.
Yeah. And that's so powerful. I'm of that, unless it's a health crisis that they have to really, act fast. But I see so much, much better results when people do that approach, because people are really attached to their foods. I'm always a little bit shocked by that, but taking something away from people is huge. People are saying to themselves, I work hard, I deserve that glass of wine. I deserve this. I deserve that. I don't want to retrieve. So there's a whole aspect of your relationship with food, which I'm sure you can get into with people as well. So what tools do you usually use to help people with that?
Yeah. So I usually, when it comes to food specifically, I do a lot of work in like food journaling, but very specifically adding their emotional and physical state when they're eating things and asking them very intentionally not to change what they're eating. Because a lot of times you ask someone to write down what they're eating and they're about to eat it and they realize they have to write it down so they don't eat it. But that actually kind of creates the fallback. So I say keep eating what you're eating and write it down, and it really forces you to be honest with yourself. So we do a lot of techniques with that, and being aware of not just what you're eating, but where you are, who you're with, what you're doing. I try to get people away from screens as much as possible when they're eating. That makes a huge difference as well. So, yeah.
It seems that with the fast food industry, we've really in the last 20 years have moved away from, like, we're eating on the go, literally, and there's almost no mindfulness into it, meaning we're not sitting down at night with our families, just no TV, nothing. Like it's baffling what we've done with the food, that, okay, it's fuel, let's get into me, no thoughts about it, just grab and go kind of thing. And if you just think about it and slow down and look at the purpose of eating and what the food will do to you in terms of its benefit. And if you're not mindful about it, I mean, we've all seen that study with, was it a water molecule that was it a snowflake that was send positive energy versus negative thoughts, and the structure. So imagine what the food will do into our own bodies when we're not in the right mindset to eat that food. I mean, we could do a whole podcast on that, but mindset is so important for that aspect. And I think you're really right to focus on that mindfulness and that awareness. And measuring, I always say, what we measure gets done, and it's tracking it is very enlightening when it comes to either food or workouts or our habits.
Right. And I don't know if you've ever tried food meditation, but that's a really great one that practice as well. And you just sit there with your plate of food, take a minute to smell it, to see it. And then when you're eating with nothing around you, no people, no screens, no books, no anything. And you really take it one bite at a time.
I've never done that, so I think I will. One thing that I have to say, I did, was it a 3.5, 4-day fasting? And as excited as I was to eat because I was hungry, I really waited to, I had this huge salad because I love salad. I love vegetables. For some people, it's a task to eat vegetables. I just love vegetables. So I had this nice salad and so forth. And I really felt that I was more mindful and I didn't want to rush into it and savor and so forth. So it just, when people ask me, how was your experience of fasting? And I said, it was more mind over matter. Sure, I was hungry, but it just, for me, it was that awareness of the food themselves and how they are there to nourish you. And if you're, like I said, eating on the go, I think you're missing out on a lot. So thank you for that exercise. I will try it. That sounds great. Mindfulness with our plates. So Sarah, tell us. We talked about what does a coach do. Where do you see people making most of their mistakes, and why people get frustrated and sometimes they give up? Because I'm sure you hear that often. It's like, so much information out there, I'm so confused, blah 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 blah, therefore I am going to do nothing. So where do you see people making the most of their mistakes, from a mindset point of view, but also from a habit point of view? Because there must be some common denominator with people's habits, right?
Oh, yeah. I've definitely noticed many patterns since I've gotten into it. I would say that one of the biggest things I notice, and a lot of it comes when people say, there's so much stuff out there, I give up. Mm-hmm. Really, it takes time. And it doesn't happen in a day, the same way that you didn't build those habits in a day. Mm-hmm. And I think that a big issue today is that people want that instant relief, that instant gratification, those diet pills, everything that's going on. So it takes time, and to really understand that you don't need to follow everything that's going on out there. You need to learn about your body and learn to listen to it. And that's kind of where a coach as myself comes in and helps you learn to listen to it. So you can really decide for yourself what you should and shouldn't take on when you read things, when you see things.
Yeah. I had seen written somewhere, I don't know where I saw that, but the person was saying people are suffering from FOMO. And I'm like, what the heck is this? Fear of missing out. And You're right with that. with technology, us being bombarded all the time. Oh, what if this is a better diet for me? What if, and bigger and better and different ways. You're so right on that aspect. And you're right. People didn't put on 30 pounds overnight. So that instant gratification is not going to happen. So I think we are going back to mindset, having expectation. And I'm sure you don't like the word diet either. It's a way of living. And anyone that goes on a diet won't stay on a diet and probably will gain back the weight because they're not changing how they're doing things, right?
Right, exactly. And it's the same. It's not just diet. It's the same with movement, with emotions, with anything really. I've had so many people say, well, it's hard to get to the gym. Mm-hmm. And even if you can't get to the gym, I get so many stares because I run around, I look like a monkey. And people are like, oh, you're a monkey. I'm like, no, I just keep playing. I never stopped playing because somewhere along the line we were conditioned
to get serious.
And I'm like, but this is what keeps me and my body fit. Because I don't always have a gym with lots of weights. So it's not always about that.
No, fit and creative, I'm sure, right?
And creative, yeah. Mm-hmm. No, it's so really just learning to play again, to eat for you, to really just listen to your body.
Yeah, you're bringing two good points here, and I'm kind of laughing because I hear this one all the time. Oh, it's so hard to get back in shape. And Sarah, I'm older than you, so I've become a little bit more blunt with my conversation with patients, and I look at them with a big smile. I said, well, then never to stop again. Then it won't be hard to get back into it. They kind of look at me and I just give them a big smile. But it's true. It is hard to get back in shape. You're going to be sore all over. So the key is to really keep moving. And you're so right that it doesn't have to be that structured workout at the gym and so forth. Fine if it's for you. But, I always say to people, what sports did you do growing up? Well, you played volleyball. Why not join a, volleyball league or whatever, an activity that's going to make you move, that you enjoy, that you won't go, oh, I have to go now, right? So because some people, let's face it, we're all different, and some people are not maybe athletic, and they don't like certain aspects. So you really have to find, what you love and then integrate it. Because I think now most people, like I'm standing here because I have a stand-up desk, but most people are sitting all day, and going to the gym for an hour is good, but we can't undo being seated all day. So trying to now integrate movement into our day. Like if somebody's in a building and they're on the third floor, well, why are you taking the elevator? Let's just take the stairs. So park the car maybe 10 minutes from where you work. And I mean, we're on the go again, and you might be late and all of that stuff, but it's just, we really have, I think, to be cognizant of those changes, because the movement adds up. And as much as we go to the gym, we need to get that movement during the day. Why not get on the ground and do push-ups and sit-ups? Like if it was common in the workplace, nobody would look at each other kind of going, what is this person doing? I think it's changing, but I think there's way more room for improvement when it comes to that. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, absolutely. I think people who do that are still getting stares, which we need to change. But yeah, 100%. And I think what a coach really does is, if someone comes to me and says, I don't have time for the gym, I don't have time, I have kids, I have work, I have this, but then they tell me they're taking the elevator and parking as close to the building as possible, I'm going to call them out on that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it's really just having someone there to say, hey, that's okay, but you're also not doing.
Yeah, because some people, I didn't even think of it, right? Like if I had the conversation yesterday, I said to her, what floor do you work on? She's like, I'm on the main floor. I'm like, okay, how many sets of stairs? 8. Well, you may not work on the 8th floor, but you could go up to the 8th floor to get that exercise, right?
Right.
So Sarah, let's wrap up on, I know in my book, Hack Your Health Habits, I have a whole chapter on your wellness team. And one thing that I would like to address to kind of expand on what a health coach will do is, oftentimes I think people are waiting on their doctors to do things for them and tell them exactly what to do. And it's just not fair to put that pressure on them because they're not trained for it. They don't have the time for it. So that wellness team is so important. Sure, get the blood test, get the information, but again, the doctors and I mean, you're American and you're used to the American system, and the Canadian system is a little bit different, but the traditional setup for our system, our medical doctors do not have the time or the training to help people. So I think sitting back and saying, it's my health. You need to become your own advocate. You're getting all the information from the practitioner, and that's great. But this is where a health coach will come in play. And, yes, you have to pay to have a health coach, but you're truly investing in your health. So don't wait on one specific practitioner to do things for you. They're going to give you good tools and good tests and so forth. But at the end of the day, a coach is there to make us accountable to what we intend to do. And I think it is such a small investment to be investing in our own health. So with that being said, I have this discussion all the time with my patients, and I'm always appalled that people won't pay the $150 or $200 or whatever a coach will charge to coach per month. And yet, they'll turn around and spend their money on something else. And I guess the answer to this is it goes back to what is their why. So somehow they're not seeing the value of keeping their body tip-top shape, or they think oftentimes too they can get the information online and so forth. So can you address that a little bit?
Yeah, it's funny that you say that, because one of my favorite quotes, which I wanted to share, was, "Your body will be around a lot longer than that expensive handbag."
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, invest in yourself. Mm-hmm. And people will spend a few $100s on a handbag, but never on themselves. And so it's really important to see that. And you're right. It's people wait on their doctors to spend money to work with coaches. But really, we're different. And a lot of doctors work on, they do a lot of preventable stuff, but it's a lot of curing. You're sick, you go to the doctor. Mm-hmm. For us, it's integrative. Mm-hmm. It's holistic. It's preventing in lifestyle. So it's different, and it's kind of bridging the gap between your doctor's appointments. Mm-hmm. It's not in place of. So it's important to know that you can have both, and they're very different. But they do.
And I think you need both. You need like that entire wellness team, because there's a time and a place for every practitioner. It's just a matter of building that wellness team, so you are preparing your body, or you're keeping your body at tip-top shape before any event arrives. So to me, we all work together, and I know I have such great respect for what you guys do, because I see a lot of patients in one day and giving advice and so forth, but at the end of the day, I know those patients do need hand holding, need to be guided with sometimes it's simple things, but they need the support, they need the guidance. And I think also a health coach will help people not waste valuable time and get discouraged. So to me, this is so important. And I'm guessing you can probably coach with some of your clients weekly, monthly, depending on their needs. Do you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, sure. So what I specifically do right now is I work either with individuals or with groups. And I work with them. I'll coach them twice a month, so 2 calls a month. And we have support, email and texting support in between. So if they do come up with something where they kind of need that accountability or that question answered, I'm still here for that. So that's essentially what I do. And I work with people more long-term, a few months to a year, because like I said, it takes time and it's not as tangible as a pill, right? it takes months to see it come into place, which is, I think, is where people hesitate to invest.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, so essentially that's what I'll do.
Cool. And now the beauty of things is you are in Republic Dominican right now, aren't you? So you're there for a few months. And the cool thing with coaching, it can be done online with technology. We don't need to be, we are face to face, but you don't need to be in the same even country. So that's pretty nice to have that flexibility. And I think I've had coaches from business coach to mindset coach to spiritual coach to all different types of coach. And I think it is so important for our own personal growth. And I think sometimes you work with a coach, they bring you to a certain point and then you move on and there's other aspects of yourself that you want to develop. So you already told us your quote, which I really like. So Sarah, tell us how people can reach you if they want to coach and work with you. I know you and I will be collaborating on some project very shortly as I'm putting the Health Hacker Tribe together, because I know that our health hackers will need your expertise. So what is your website?
So my website is lighthousewellnessretreats.com. Pretty easy.
Easy. Good. And people. So thank you so much, Sarah. I'm sure we'll be chatting some more. We should actually potentially do the Canadian food guidelines and discuss a little bit more of that. I know I wrote a blog on it, but it'd be nice. Maybe we should get a few nutritionists, a couple from Canada, a couple from the US, and kind of do a bit of a debate. But I think at the end of the day, everybody is different. There's no one size fits all. And I think this is where all of us, I really believe that we agree that we need to focus on a patient-centered approach. So thank you very much, Sarah.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So thanks for listening. This was Dr. Natalie Beauchamp with my guest today, Sarah Sutin. We talked about health coach and how they can help you achieve your goals. So stay accountable to your health this week, and I will be speaking with you on the next podcast next week. Have a great week, everyone. I'm Dr. Natalie Beauchamp, and this is What the Heck, the podcast that dives into what the heck is going on in the world of health and well-being, explores how to optimize your mindset and your lifestyle, and shares practical tools so that you can achieve your fullest potential. Join me and a special guest each week as we discuss everything from biohacking to diet personalization to cutting-edge detox methods to setting and staying accountable to your goals. Ready to find out what the heck you can do to stay healthy, sharp, and at the top of your game? Let's get started. This has been a Wellness on the Go production.